Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some pretty fun stuff for our news video today, so as always, let's get straight to it. The very first thing that I want to show you guys is actually something from a good friend of the channel's Dinomikemak that he has recently created. He made himself the definitive guide to Jurassic World. Now, if you look through these images, and this is just a very small sample of what the book holds, we have all sorts of really cool imagery and all sorts of really cool information on Jurassic World. And it's basically like if Jurassic World were trying to sell you on a visit, and he did such an incredibly good job on this. It looks insanely professional. Like, honestly, I don't know that it could look more professional, and as a whole is definitely something that I recommend anybody interested in picking up. It is definitely one of the coolest Jurassic style collectibles that I have seen in a very long time. So as always, I will include links in the description to where you can contact Dinomikemak and where you can purchase yourself this insanely cool definitive guide to Jurassic World. As far as Dejlay Studios goes, I wanted to show you guys this really cool 1/35th scale Triceratops prototype. They will be releasing this into their line very soon, from what I've been told, and it really is a fantastic Triceratops. Like, looking at this Triceratops makes me want to actually acquire their recently released T-Rex even more than I already wanted to, because this Triceratops looks to be a perfect companion piece to that model, but as a whole, it's probably one of the nicest looking Triceratops I've ever seen. Once this is available to purchase, I will let you guys know. Also, as far as Artic figures goes, the final piece of the Indiegogo campaign for the Spinosaurus is officially sculpted and available on the Indiegogo campaign. They have the Plesiosaur, and it looks so good, as it always does when it comes to an Artic figure sculpt. Of course, it is loaded with articulation, which is something that's also really quite fun. And speaking of the Indiegogo campaign, I actually had just posted the female Spinosaurus review earlier today, so if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure you watch that review so you can get a good idea of how nice the models are in the new Indiegogo campaign. But again, this is the final entry into this current Indiegogo campaign from Artic Figures, the Plesiosaur, and I definitely recommend adding this to your list of purchases from that Indiegogo campaign. Just like with Dinomikemak, I will include a link in the description to where you can do that right now. And then as far as Dino Dream goes, we have our first dose of what's going to be coming from them for their officially licensed Jurassic Park products. Yes, they have acquired the license to distribute Jurassic Park products. Officially, they have been releasing Jurassic Park style models for many years now, but it's super awesome that Dino Dream officially has the license, and you can see that we have two different velociraptors that will be coming from them for their Jurassic Park line, both of which obviously replicate quite iconic moments in Jurassic Park, which is really awesome, and as a whole, I think are two of the best Jurassic Park style velociraptors I've ever seen. And speaking of Jurassic models, we also have a replacement head coming from Marco Makes for the Hammond Collection T-Rex. If you've watched his Hammond correction videos, you'll notice how off the T-Rex specifically is in his most recently released edition of that series. So he has gone ahead and sculpted himself a brand new head sculpt for the Hammond Collection T-Rex. That's definitely something that I really want to get my hands on. I already have a Rex here waiting and ready to go for me to customize, and I feel like it absolutely definitively needs that head sculpt to go with it. No word quite yet on when this will release, or if it's going to be released straight up by Marco or through Ceratech. I'm not too sure quite yet, but when I do have that information, I will let you guys know. And then as far as Shane Folks and the Cretaceous Creations of America goes, here are a few images of his upcoming 1/10th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes, you heard me right, 1/10th scale T-Rex. This thing is going to be absolutely out of this world gigantic. So if you are a fan of Shane Folks, which I definitely am, and you are a fan of his sculpts, which I also definitely am, this is a model you may want to look into following along with the production of, and then of course acquire when it does officially release. It's obviously not releasing quite yet, but when it is finished, it's definitely going to be one of the best Tyrannosaur models we'll ever see. And then when it comes to Rebor, we have a look at the Diplodocus, not just one, but both versions. We, of course, if you've been following the progress of this model, have two different paint variants of the Diplodocus, and honestly, with the wire neck and wire tail, it looks like it might be the best Diplodocus that we have ever seen. Rebor really going all in with their first sauropod, which is super exciting, because there was a time where we just basically never thought we'd get a sauropod from Rebor, and they went ahead and had obviously shown us that's not correct. We will get one, and not only that, but we will get potentially the best version of this species to date. In my opinion, not everyone might share that opinion, but I think this is definitely one of, if not the most beautiful Diplodocus I've ever seen. I just can't wait for the pre-order to go live. I'll definitely be grabbing this one the moment I see any pre-order links. And then when it comes to Creative Beast Studio and the Beasts of the Mesozoic, we have a look at their upcoming Dilophosaurus, or at least the progress on it so far, and a good look at, there's actually two different versions. There's a Beasts of the Mesozoic and a cyberzoic version of the Dilophosaurus, which both differ from each other. The version you are looking at here is actually the cyberzoic version, and this was actually sculpted, articulated, and printed by Raul Ramos, who we have seen models of in the past on the channel, and then of course he has done quite a bit of extensive work on the Beasts of the Mesozoic line, but it is easily the best Dilophosaurus I've ever seen. Like, I really don't envision us getting a better version ever, so this one is very high up on my want list. And then we also have a look at the paint scheme for the upcoming version 2 of the Acheroraptor, which looks to be another really nice naturalistic color scheme chosen for the Raptor series, the version 2 of these Raptor series releases. I definitely can't wait to see it actually applied to the model, but it looks like it's probably an even better color scheme than the original version. And then when it comes to Wild Past, we actually have quite a few images here of their upcoming Scutosaurus, and the Scutosaurus contains, and I apologize if I say the name incorrectly, but a Cotlasia, and it looks really good. Honestly, this looks to be the best Wild Past release so far. Like, it really is beautifully sculpted, but on top of being beautifully sculpted, I feel like they've really amped up the overall paint applications and the realism of those paint applications. They've been delivering some great figures since their inception, but I feel like these again are just of a higher quality than their older releases were, which is super exciting for anybody that has been a fan of the line. I really cannot wait to see the Majungasaurus as well, that should be unveiled very soon, but this Scutosaurus is definitely a must-have if you ask me, especially because there are so few Scutosaurus models out there, and this definitely looks to be one of the best we've ever seen. And then I'd like to give a huge shout out to Dan Surprise, who posted these images on his Instagram account, but we actually have a look at some more upcoming wild pop-ups from Mattel, and obviously one here is the Giganotosaurus. We've already had a Giganotosaurus. I don't see anything really different about this one compared to the older one. Nothing I'm picking up on right away anyway. But we have an Indoraptor, and that one's pretty neat. That's one we definitely haven't had in the pop-ups so far. We did have it in the Snap Squad, but not the wild pop-ups, and it looks pretty cool. Not really great, but I mean, I guess for being those goofy stylized figures, it looks okay. There's also a Triceratops, which is quite hilarious looking overall. It almost looks like he doesn't even have front legs or anything. So he's very humorous looking. And then we also have a Parasaurolophus, which I think also looks quite nice, much better than the Triceratops. But definitely need to see some more wild pop-ups coming, and hopefully they end up here in the United States sooner rather than later. We also, thanks to Collect Jurassic, have a look at the Crash and Attack Explorer. The Explorer isn't really anything super amazing to behold in this image. It just looks like a really nicely done Ford Explorer for the Jurassic Park line, which I definitely am picking up once it releases, because I believe it has that really cool kind of battle damage aspect to it, hence the Crash and Attack Explorer name. But what's more interesting about these images is the fact that we have a look at the Velociraptor, which is obviously more of an epic attack style Velociraptor, and it looks okay, I guess. At least it does have some painted nails on the feet and everything, which is a plus, but as a whole it has that kind of chunkier body style that Mattel has been going with for these newer epic attack figures. I really can't judge quite yet how much I'm going to like or dislike these, probably until I see them in person, but I will say I don't think this Raptor looks all that bad. We also have a very interesting premium plush Tyrannosaurus Rex that Collect Jurassic recently unveiled as well, but as cool as it looks, you know, I'm not really into collecting plush models, but this actually is priced at $400 plus. That is ridiculous. It is a 15-inch long plush figure, but that is just an outlandish price for something like this. I don't know, some people might be interested in it, but I know I definitely will not be picking that one up. And thanks to Plush Boy Q for showing this image off to me, but it appears as though we have our very first early look at the Bistahieversor from Mattel. This image has been kind of circling the internet over the last few days, and I don't really know what to make of it. It kind of looks like it has a kind of cool paint scheme. I just really can't judge what the sculpt has going on, and it looks like it has like quills or spikes or something there on the back, and maybe the action feature has something to do with those. I don't know what is going on with the model. I'm a little worried seeing this image and what they'll be doing with it, because I feel like they could take a really cool species and potentially ruin it with this weird action feature thing they have going on. But I guess time will only tell on that one until we see the official full body reveal. And the final thing as far as Mattel news and as far as this entire video goes is, again, thanks to Collect Jurassic, we have the Hunt and Chomp T-Rex, and of course this time we have a brand new paint variant for the Rex along with tracking gear, and I am really excited about the addition of tracking gear. I think that's super awesome, something I really have been waiting to see on a T-Rex. But what's interesting about this is we have a paint job on the Rex that isn't Rexy-like, so that's kind of cool for once, but they didn't really do a good job because there's not a whole lot of paint on it. It is nice to see painted nails, of course, no paint on the dew claw as always, and that striping effect plays off of the lighter brown really quite nicely, I think. It does look really flashy, but I think the fact that they stopped running that striping along the back so early and didn't run it out all the way onto the tail definitely takes away from the model a lot. It really does make it look a lot more of like an unpainted or like a half-painted toy rather than a fully painted toy. The colors and the tones of color chosen do look really cool, and of course my opinion could always change when I see it in person. But I kind of half love this paint job and half don't like it because it looked really neat with the way they were going, the route they were heading, but then they kind of ruined it by, you know, giving up so early on those stripes. Regardless, I am still quite excited to see some tracking gear on a brand new T-Rex. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, of course, I'll be sure to send it your way, but until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.